Welcome to a Drop Tent Media production.
Hi, hello, welcome, Call the Bus, Neil Wood, Adam Nutter.
By the renewing of your mind.
The recycling. It's a flesh body world.
Good.
Human.
Good.
Sir slimy reptilian.
Hey, here we are, another day in the cult, straight out of the gate. We got a great guest, Jonas Barnes from Not Another Goddamn Horror Podcast. I love the name of it. Not Another Goddamn Horror Podcast. It's amazing. I'm happy to be here. Adam maybe popping in. We have no idea. He was rushed out of here with a urgent message from the president. I believe it's his president. He loves him to death. I know, despite the libertarian views, everything he does, he loves the current president. Last president, he loves all of them. He's way into all the DNC, RNC. It's some of his favorite people, really. But unfortunately,
I'm just gonna pop on here like, what the fuck,
dude? You
telling
ruined my
people.
entire credibility. What are you doing? But I'm here with Jonas today. We were rapping about horror immediately. We were like,
yeah.
what is going on? And I mean, it's a good time to be into horror right now. I mean, we were talking about we were talking about some of our favorites, which we have. If you will, to check out our Patreon, and I'm sure you've covered it as well, Jonas. But yeah, we were talking about the Serbian film before that, the sadness, all the good stuff coming out right now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, not right now, and also the stuff coming out right now. But and dude, I gotta say, guys, listen, I just got to meet Jonas, Adam's friend. How did you get to know Adam? Let's start there. What?
So I got to know Adam doing another podcast. So he was actually, we were
Wonderful.
both guests on the same show, and then we kind of hit it off there, and then we just started talking like comedy and all that stuff. And yeah, that's really how it started. And that's yeah. That's
and
where
comedian yourself. You said you're doing some comedian stuff as well, some stand up. I didn't even know.
Yeah, dude, I've been a comic now for almost 13 years.
Hell yeah. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
and I started up in the Pacific Northwest, moved to New York about 9 years ago, and been going here since.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh man, I hope I get to see you up there soon, man. I mean, but when it comes for horror, like in New York, are you able? Because I imagine with the amount of theaters, small, little, big, like all that stuff, are you able to get just like access to some movies and like horror stuff where like you can't see in other places, or like I can't get to?
I mean, sometimes it depends. So like when Terrifier 2 came out, I was able to see the New York premiere over at Regal. So
Yes.
like that was dope because all the people, this was before Terrifier 2 exploded into what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I got there, I was like, oh shit, Lauren Lavera, and like, oh shit, Phil Falcone, and like, oh David Howard Thornton. Like we'd already talked to David Art the Clown. We'd already talked to him on the podcast before, and he'd told us like, I want to say like 6-7 months prior that he was like, you guys have no fucking idea what we've done with Terrifier 2.
No.
So like I was already hyped for it, but then when I got to the premiere and I saw the people, everybody was like really into it. And then like, you know how when you see a horror film with horror fans, like there's that energy that's in a room.
Oh,
so like,
they're gonna do it.
dude,
I mean,
as
oh, they're gonna
soon-
fucking do it, dude. They're gonna do it.
it was, dude, as soon as that opening scene happens with the coroner, everybody's
yes.
like, fuck yeah, like
Yeah.
everybody was just immediately rabid.
So pumped.
So shit like that, yeah, like it's cool that we get to see stuff like that. Or like, because we have the IFC Film Center, the IFC
Gotcha.
Theater,
Right.
if it's an IFC midnight movie, or if it's like a certain
Ooh.
kind of like low budget or indie movie, something like that, a lot of times we get access to see those in a theater before they'll come out on like Shudder or streaming or whatever.
Nice.
And they also do a lot of like premieres with like cast and crew and stuff like that, Q&As and stuff. They do a lot of those at those theaters. So yeah, stuff like that is dope. That's one of the reasons that I'm happy to be in New York, aside from the comedy aspect of it. The horror, like I love movies in general, but horror is very much my favorite genre. So I get a little spoiled in New York because I get to see a lot of that stuff. That's, I get to see it quicker than other people do at times.
I think some of the most exciting horror that movies that I've seen I'm super excited about, was it Ty West or no Ty Wood?
Yeah, Ty West's new one.
Ty West. Like between X and Pearl, I was in love, like immediately. I was like, I love what you're doing immediately. I was like, this is amazing. We were talking about Evil Dead before we got on, and what they're doing with that. And then Terrifier is like the movie that just came out of the side. Like you're just it came from like the darkness as it should have. And you're just like, what is this? Like, I saw the first one, loved it. I was like, well, this isn't gonna get like picked up. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna make these, and I'm gonna have to find these. Like this is okay, got it.
It was made for like $20,000. It was super cheap. Like
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, cool. I need to keep my ear to the ground and like watch for the next one or something. Because this seemed like it was successful, and I guess it was. I didn't look for the fanfare of like Terrifier one, and I know he was in so one of those mashups. Like he was a character that
in an anthology.
Out of an anthology, and which is fascinating as fuck. Automatically, which I'm glad people are still like doing those and just like slapping them together. Like, oh yeah, like, put all these movies. They're all fun in their different ways. Put them together. Let's see what takes, and go to film festivals with it. But yeah, I think those are the most exciting franchises in horror right now franchises. But like I'm hoping they keep going, and they're so exciting. I can't think of any other ones that I'm really. And I've seen a ton of other stuff. But like everything else is kind of like does not have what I think horror fans are really looking for.
It doesn't have the wow factor. Like,
yeah.
Well, here's the thing about like I was talking about this about last year. So last year was a banger of a year for horror. Like horror was huge last year. Yeah. And so you had X, you had Pearl, you had Scream, and then you had the new Scream that came out. So you had those, but like you also had Terrifier 2. You had all these other movies like indie horror film movies that were just indie horror films were popping off left and right last year. And also like there were some big franchise ones too. So like it kind of had the good mix of both. But the biggest thing about the thing with Terrifier 2 that's interesting is that movie, for anybody that's seen it, there's no way in hell that movie should have been in a theater in any regular circumstance. So what ended up happening is the distributor, Cinedigm, kind of just said, fuck it, we're going to take a chance. And they put it in theaters. But they only initially had it in theaters for a week. Like that was the only thing they were going to do. It was going to be a week. It was going to be like 1 or 2 showings a night. Like it wasn't going to be anything crazy. And then next thing you know, all those showings sold out. So they're like, all right, shit, we're going to put it in for another week and another week and another week and another week. So it went on for 8 weeks. And it went on for 8 weeks in over 800 theaters. Like that's crazy, especially for that movie. Like, and so what ended up happening is it kind of showed studios that like
a sequel.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
you're just like,
things.
What?
Yeah. So it also kind of showed studios that like, oh shit, we can put indie movies in theaters and people are going to come out to them if they're quality movies, or like, especially for horror, like they're like, people will come out to these. The downside of that is that you get movies like that really shitty Winnie the Pooh movie that like a lot of people still went out and saw. So it's just like, all right, don't give them too big of a, don't give them too big of a message there. Yeah. But Terrifier 2 is like the Cinderella story of horror. Like nobody saw that coming. Even including the filmmakers, they didn't see that coming. Right. Like it was just like, oh shit. So now Art the Clown is like a horror cultural icon. Like he's right up there with Jason and Freddy. Like, and people said that in the first one and nobody believed it. And then the second one came out and they're like, oh shit, like he's right up there.
Yeah, he kind of solidified, which again, given, and I still of course follow everything with it and all the remakes as well. Mm-hmm. I liked them. I had some people shit on them and stuff like that. I was like, I like these. I don't know why. I like them. I think they're fun. Yeah, it's a good fun thing. I dug it. I didn't want to I was like, guys, we get so rare, so rarely do we get like giant, productions of these kind of movies. So I was like, I'm in. I think unless they completely shit the bed on this, I think I'm fairly in. And they kept to it from the first one. I think they ran through with with them. It was pretty great. But yeah, in terms of clowns, like what else are we gonna do? Like this was, I was like, okay, cool. We have it. And that was pretty much the go-to for.
Right.
I mean, you were either doing that or real life John Wayne Gacy. Like that was, you were doing actual serial killers or the fictional one from the 80s, right? Like
right.
From when they were, but other than that, and the book, but like you were like, what are we doing with clowns? Yeah, clowns are scary. We got it. But like it, right? Like yeah, clowns are scary. And then this guy just comes out of here with the concept of like, nah, like what if it was a guy? Like you're like,
Just
what if?
Yeah, a dude. I'm like. And he's a mime. He's a mime. He didn't say a fucking word.
The beauty of
it. Does not say a word. Now, you know what's really interesting? What's really interesting about this? When we were talking to David, he said he went from, so before Terrifier, what he was doing was he was playing the Grinch on the touring How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So he was like, I already played a part that I really didn't have to like say anything. Like there was no real words to it. It was all animated, like all animated movements. He was like, so when they had me come in to potentially play Art the Clown, he was like, all I did was a couple of things that were just really animated, emotional stuff, but with my face and hands. And they were like, okay, but now you need to act like you're gonna saw somebody's head off. And he was just like, okay. He just popped right into it and was like, how do I do this in like a comically over the top way without saying a word? And he said right after he did the first one, they were like, you're fucking in. Like you're the guy. Yeah. Like so it was kind of cool that way. You know, it's funny when I was talking to somebody about clown movies. The only other clown movie aside from It that I think is just crazy good is literally called Clown. And it's the one where the dude puts on the clown makeup and the clown mask, like to go to his kid's birthday party. But then it's like the clown makeup is like cursed and it attaches to his face and body and he can't remove it. And the longer that he keeps it on, the more it takes him over and turns him into like this demonic, like nasty ass entity that has to feed on people, but he can't remove it. Like, so it literally fuses with his body. And it was one that was
sounds like 2 X's ago, you know what I mean? Sorry.
Yeah. But no, it was kind of it's an Eli Roth production. He doesn't direct it, but he is the executive producer. And he also was the original one that it was a fake trailer that just turned into a full movie. And it fucking rules. Yeah. Yeah. A fake trailer. And then it turns out that it was awesome. So like, and it's like, it's legit terrifying.
Okay. I will find this.
Yeah, he just puts on a clown nose and then he tries to remove it when he gets done with the birthday party and he can't remove it. And then when he like tries to pull it off, it like rips part of his nose with it. And he's just like, oh, fuck. Like,
I have not seen this and I will watch this immediately when I get done here. Wow.
Yeah, it's gnarly. It is gnarly.
I have to see this if it's good. Yeah, because we were talking about sadness before that. And when I just love those world turns. There's moments when you, like, especially Sadness delivers so heavy on like, you know, if you haven't seen The Sadness, Taiwanese, right? I believe.
Yeah, it's a Taiwanese.
Taiwanese, and I knew it was good. Well, from the gate, it felt loving. Like I felt like, oh, you guys put a lot of thought into this. I like, okay, and then the scene from the rooftop, which is in the trailer, you're just like, right. Okay, yeah, this is unsettling, and you're about to kick into a horror movie, and it's about to kick into some zombies, possibly. Okay, got it. But it was the way they did it from that point, which is really where when the movie kicks off. If you're a horror fan, after that happens, you're like, okay, this is important. This is the moment.
Right.
Like this is it. His next motions are very important, and what is about to happen, and it delivers. And you're just like, holy shit. Yeah, it is fantastic. I love those moments. The same thing with Terrifier. He's like, oh, okay, clown, we got it. And then it just fucking delivers. And the silence, I don't know how much, I guess that was the choice from the gate. They're like, you know, because they got him specifically. They were like, can you pantomime, I imagine? Because there couldn't have been a time where he was meant to have lines.
Nope.
Right? There's no way. Right. He was always meant. Which is the best choice. Like, it's like if this clown needs to talk at a point, like, we're fucked. Like, it's not gonna, whatever he says is not good enough. It's
No.
never, and that's the thing with it. That's the thing when we, somebody had slipped through the things of like all the horror is when he's quiet. Like, why is he saying things? And hey, Curry, was it Curry? Yeah. Who's the original? I'm trying to think of
The original Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. Yes.
Yep.
You're like, hey man, you had lines, you're trying to deliver them in a horrible, just being
Sure.
creepy in them. Good job. But then you just see him do nothing. You see him,
Yeah.
you see him do everything with no lines, and you're like, God damn, you are unsettling. Say something, you son of a bitch. Like, you're
Right.
so mad. And then all the comedy is great.
Oh yeah,
The
comedy is
is
fantastic.
fantastic. It is so good. The laundromat scene is
Perfect.
just amazing.
Yeah,
It
absolutely
is-
perfect.
You could not ask for a better tone of a movie where you are like, hey, we know what you guys like, but also, what if he was imagining shit? What if,
Right.
What if and the things that you're imagining are exactly what you think they are
For sure.
and you're just like, dude, you guys it was like somebody serving you a steak already, and then they were like, yeah, no, we got mashed potatoes, we got fixins, we got
Yeah,
we
we're
got
all
all
good.
the
Yeah,
stuff, baby. Let's
We
get
got a lot
into
of
it.
salt.
Yeah,
We got a
yeah.
whole lot of salt.
Yeah.
That whole fucking bedroom scene, it was so funny when I at the premiere they were talking to her. Her name's Casey Hartnett. She's fantastic. And she was the one that plays Allie. So she's the one that gets the easily the worst kill scene out of all of them.
Right.
And so when she was talking at the premiere, they said, how was it filming that scene? And she goes, well, I haven't done a whole lot of stuff. And then they said, we have a bedroom scene for you. And she goes, oh, okay. She goes, I was expecting it to be a bedroom scene. She goes, turns out it was far fucking worse. She goes, I would have happily showed my tits instead of doing all that,
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene. So when we were last year, we did a thing called, so this is kind of funny. We do a horror award show every year for our podcast, but we call it the Danzigs because we all fucking love Danzig. And we're like, and you know what? He also made a movie. So we fucking love Danzig. His movie sucked, but he at least tried, he tried to do it. So we have all the respect in the world for Danzig. So we're like, all right, well, we're calling it the Danzigs. And one of the categories, of course, was Kill of the Year. And it was easily that one. Where there was so many good ones, but that one, because every time he does something, you're like, okay, it's done. And then he comes back in the room, you're like, Jesus Christ, dude.
That bedroom scene is when I was showing it, I was like, listen, there are gonna be moments in this scene and you need to stay in. You're gonna wanna just be like, what is this? Just stay in it because again, of course I'm showing this to someone who's actually not a horror fan.
Sure,
Always,
of
every
course.
time.
Yeah,
Every time I'm just like, right? And they're like, this is awful. And I'm like, yeah I know.
I know, it's awesome, right?
It's so good. Think
Yeah.
about, just when I tell you that, and we were talking a little bit about before we got on with the comedy with the Evil Dead franchise right now, how the comedy was with the new movie that was released, kind of the sequel, sequel, I imagine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The sequel from the the 2013, like you said, the continuation, right?
Yeah.
And delivers on a lot of good gore, but when I tell you that the comedy we talked about it before was the comedy was misplaced, it's
It
kind
felt
of
shoehorned.
it's in, and you're like, eh. I mean, I hate to do the comparison, but it feels like a great comic is on stage, and you are just waiting to see what they're going to say every time with Terrifier. You're just like, how is he going to play with this next victim and fuck with them? And it's going to be kind of funny until it's so not funny.
For sure, yeah.
And then it's going to kind of get funny again. He might get funny.
That's actually what happened after that brutal ass scene, because the next scene is a bunch of kids coming up to the door for trick-or-treating, and he's holding the mom's head full of candy. And it's just and this is where I kind of thought it was brilliant too, because that scene itself is kind of funny in a really fucked up way. But then when the one kid tries to get greedy and grab a bunch of candy, he slaps his hand and just goes, just one. Knock it off, you little shit.
Now we're talking. This is the kind of where again, and you know what they don't get? It's first. I'll get into an award question in a second because I mean it's always bugged me that horror never gets any fucking credits at all for anything, obviously ever, which is insane. Because I mean, Jesus Christ, Pearl, Pearl should have gotten, but the fact that she didn't get an award blew my mind. I was like, I don't know. I guess they just don't care about you. They don't give a fuck. I was like, you are an astonishing actor.
Yeah.
Like she was.
Mia Goth is incredible.
She just that ending scene of her saying, I tell everybody like, hey, listen, if you've ever seen an actress acting, oh yeah, who's a good actress to you or an actor, whatever. Cool. Yeah. Good. You like that? Okay, cool. Have you ever seen them just sit over top of the credits, camera rolling, and have to pretend that they've lost all of their mind? Like all of the faculties, they're just gone and just hold it for the entire credits.
Whole
like
thing.
And you're like, well, is that acting? I was like, it's acting to that point. She's acting phenomenally in the movie. And then at the end, she's like, let me show you what it looks like to lose your mind, like to absolutely lose your shit.
She did 3 things in that scene at the same time. She did the smile, which was like I have to put a smile on my face. She did the vacant blank stare, which means that there was nothing. She was fucking dead behind the eyes. And then also she cried.
Yeah.
All 3 of those things were happening at the same fucking time without a word and without a movement. Like that is insane. That is so good.
Who are we giving awards to? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what is? I was like, this is it. But yeah, I get it. That was. I mean, my question is like, are we gonna get? Let's do it out. Like, are we? Is there any horror? I mean, we have to do our own awards, obviously, but it's like annoying that like Academy Award, things like this are just completely passed over. None of the actors get any.
Right.
Get Out gets a comedy. It's like, oh, it was a comedy. You're like, I mean, hey, Get Out's Get Out, whatever. But like, give them props for keeping tension and having like, it's a horror. It's a horror
That
movie.
was 1,000%.
You're fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it's so strange.
The funny thing is, like, so you have like the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, which just happened a couple days ago, which was dope. I'm happy that Fangoria does that every year. But this was kind of interesting because that you bring up the award show thing, because Terrifier was actually in contention for potentially being on the award ceremony. So they were this is also the first time this has ever happened.
Right.
So they clearly were not put into the nominations, but they were in running for nominations. So what they do with the Oscars every year is they have a list of movies that they are going to go over with the Academy and all that stuff, and they're going to figure out which of those movies is going to go into nomination for the award show. Terrifier was listed, I think, 3 times for 3 separate, it was on there for 3 separate things. So like they had one for like cinematography, one for makeup, and then like one for something else. I can't remember what it was. But the point is that it was on there 3 times. And when it was on there, like you should have seen the filmmakers, like Damien Leone and like all the people involved with it. They're like, oh, what the fuck? Like we didn't expect that at all.
No.
So by the time it came around for them to choose the nominated films, of course, Terrifier didn't get any. And like they weren't expecting it to, but even the fact that a movie like that was even potentially in the nominations, that's like at least another step in the right direction.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that Terrifier 2 is the one that pushed that to the line.
True.
Because like if you're looking at a movie like Pearl, okay, like you just mentioned that, I will say this, in horror, in the annals of horror going back as far as I can remember, there are 2 movies that have a monologue in them that blew my fucking mind.
Okay.
One of them is Pearl.
Yeah.
So the monologue that she does at the table when she's kind of just like vomiting out everything. Yeah. That monologue made my skin get goosebumps. Like it was so well done.
Great writing, great delivery, great
acting.
Yeah.
And the only one that I can ever remember that goes along with that as far as quality goes is Brad Dourif in Exorcist 3. Gotcha. When he does the monologue as the Gemini killer,
right,
that like fucking chills your soul. Like it's one of the best like deliveries of just a like, this is who I am, this is what I do. This is why I'm nasty. Like,
Right.
and you feel everything on it. And then again, between that and however many years it is between Exorcist 3 and Pearl, there never was another one that came along. Like, there was one that was kind of cool in Hobo with a Shotgun. There was a monologue in that was kind of dope when he's looking in the nursery. Like, that was cool.
Yeah.
But then the rest of the movie was like this Technicolor grindhouse splatter film. So they just didn't go with each other. Whereas Exorcist 3 and Pearl, that monologue fit perfectly with the movie, and it like elevated the film to another level. Mia Goth should have gotten multiple awards. She was incredible. Like, especially to do those two different parts in those two different movies back to back. Fucking wild.
Jonas, I just don't. I just don't. I mean, listen, I'm not in the whole, the world or whatever. I'm an actor, but I just go like, if this, I'm having emotions while I'm watching this movie of just like seeing it from her, like trying to see it from her actor's like perspective, and just being like, she is doing incredible things with this role. Like, it is. She is making me feel everything she feels. Like, it is crazy. I'm seeing it from her perspective, which is nuts. That's the whole point. That's why when you have some of these great characters, and even Terrifier 2 to that point, you're kind of like, you get into that thing of like, everyone stop beating up on this guy. You know what I mean? You're like,
for sure.
There are moments where you're like, guys, leave him alone. You know what I mean? He's
Right.
covered in blood. He's killed 2 babies, but you're like, guys, don't make fun of him. Like, you know what I mean?
You're giving shit on top of it. Come on.
Come on. What are we doing here? And it's one of those things where you're like, and I can imagine, it's one of I hate it that because of the nature of the movie, people are, they see the gore and then they just turn off the artistry of it. And it's a shame. But it is funny to play around with the, like, it's fun to think about like the old gross dudes, like probably having to, like, they're like, oh, okay, yes, what's this? Yeah, okay, yes, everything all at once. Asians, and they put that one in.
Nice.
Yes. Oh, there's a lot of colors and things moving. Okay, very nice. And then you're just like, Terrifier 2.
You're right.
And then putting them in and just like, strap in, old man. Like, let's get into this
immediately from the opening scene. It's just like, that's. That kind of like, so that kind of horror I love. And it's kind of funny because I'll watch pretty much any horror you put in front of me. I'll give it a chance. And there's certain movies that people love that I did not like. Like, I hated The Lighthouse and I hated The Witch, but it wasn't because
we're playing Lighthouse. We're playing as I thought that was just a thriller. Really, that got into the horror a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I guess it did. The
into,
tension's high. It is very high. Yeah.
And also he fucks a mermaid monster. I
honestly went for the art house motion of that. Like, we kind of at some point really don't even know what's real. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where I kind of go like, it's tough to tell. I thought in those movies, I think know that they're doing that for Academy purposes. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of like, listen, we got to play this a little bit, man. So sorry to interrupt, but yeah.
No, it's just like, it's one of those things where like a lot of people love The Lighthouse, and I like the way it was filmed, and I recognize the artistry of it, and it was beautiful for what it was. But it's like, if I want to see 2 dudes jerk off and fart for a movie, I can watch Animal House.
I'll do that myself.
Exactly. Sure. Like, The Hangover had 3 movies. Come on, like, it's just there. But then like The Witch, beautiful movie, was not my thing. Like, just it was fine. And like those, so like there are those movies that like are kind of like genre darlings that are just not my jam. But then like you'll go into movies like Terrifier or like Pearl or like X or like, these ones that kind of come out of left field where it's just like, oh shit, and also those movies, they make stars. Like Jenna Ortega is a fucking mega star now.
Yeah.
And nobody really knew much about her until things like these. She's become a new Scream Queen, Right. And she's fucking great at it. Like her in X, she was incredible for playing the part that she needed to play, She's great as the new Scream girl. Like, she's great as that, for what Scream is. She's a good new, like, quote unquote final girl for Scream. Like, and she was fucking great as Wednesday. She's gonna be in the new Beetlejuice 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. She's playing Lydia Dietz's daughter, which is fucking awesome. Like, So that type of stuff, that's what I like about horror, because horror kind of like it stretches across so many different like subgenres and different types. Like when you say horror, there's so many different underneath, subgenres and stuff. The reason that I asked you earlier when we were talking is if you were into Asian horror is because of a movie that I had just gotten in the mail that I'd seen before, but it's kind of like it flew under the radar pretty heavily. It's called Project Wolf Hunting.
Okay, I know this title. I know the title of this, and that means that yes, please.
So
pitch it.
This movie is a mixture of Predator, Train to Busan,
I had this queued up, dude. I'm watching this. Yes, fuck.
Those are like the two closest. Because basically, so I take that back. It's a mixture of Predator and Train to Busan with a little bit of Con Air, except on a boat. So like, you know what I mean? Like it's full of a bunch of convicts, and then there's one of the convicts is not what they think it is. And when the movie hits carnage, which is like 20 minutes into the movie, it fucking never lets go. And like it is so good for what it is.
Watch the trailer. I watched the trailer and I was like, I couldn't get a beat on it. That was the thing. The only reason I didn't go into it, I was like, can't get a beat on it. And you know what I was worried about? I was like, this might be a comic book situation or something.
Definitely not.
Like I know. No. That's what I was like. I was like, I might not know. So I will. Yes, I remember watching the trailer. I am getting into that. I'm watching that now.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
The thing that you see in the trailer that kind of makes you think like it might be comic bookish, and the reason that it's called Project Wolf Hunting is because the superhuman thing that's kind of like the Predator is a medical experiment that has the senses of a wolf. So like it's bloodthirsty, it has a super big sense of smell, blah 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 blah, and it's also basically invulnerable, and it's got an entire fucking cargo ship full of criminals to just decimate. So it's like, plus there's also a cool story attached to it. So it's like high action, high horror, but also storyline and really good acting. And also there's no dub track, which I appreciate because dubbing usually sucks in those movies. So it's like it's full subtitles. So
no, the don't watch. The dubbing is
trash.
Yeah, you're not gonna get hard. I can't even. I don't even know how I would watch that. I'm sure I could get by, but it's gonna be weird as fuck. It's one of those things where I wanted to. What was the question I wanted to go to? It was all this stuff going on with the horror franchises. I feel like I'm at a loss for some of like where we're going. Like I'm like we don't have really much to grab onto. Well, I should say now we have some to grab onto, but I'm very worried it's gonna get too big. That's what that's in my head. I get worried. I'm like, okay. Again, we talked about with the Evil Dead, and I think that's where you brought that up of like, okay, cool. Yeah, it's the production. This is like, this is a big movie. Like they're doing a franchise with it. We have a horror landscape now with everything they did with the oh God, Neil, don't do this. Don't brain fart right now. God forbid we have to edit something. That would be disgusting.
No, not editing.
Yeah. No, not editing. Oh no, 3 tools in 5 minutes. That's disgusting.
It's crazy.
No, I'm thinking of the everything with the Nun and that entire. We have a universe now,
the Conjuring universe.
The Conjuring universe. Sorry, the Conjuring universe. And I've seen all, and I didn't realize it was creeping up on us either. I actually didn't. And when I was like, wait, yeah, all these movies are intertwined.
Right. I
was like, oh, we got a little universe. The only thing is I hate is it's Christian horror, and I don't have a big right, but we know the beats. You know what I mean? You know the beats, baby.
When it comes to like religious horror and possession horror and stuff like that, you're like, I've fucking seen it already. Like that type of thing.
I just have nothing for it. Yeah.
Right. And the Conjuring universe, so it's kind of funny when you bring up the whole Christian horror thing. I want to bring up 2 points on that. First off, fuck the Warrens.
Yes, they're awful people.
Awful, fucking terrible people. Complete charlatans, pieces of shit. They ruined people's lives. Like they were terrible people. The first Conjuring was solid. The second Conjuring was not bad. The third one was a piece of shit, and it was mostly because of the fact that the Warrens are terrible people. Like it used that and it made the Warrens look good. So fuck that movie. But like the Annabelle movies, like they're fun for what they are. Like they're literally exactly what you think an Annabelle movie is going to be. Weird, creepy doll does weird, creepy shit. And now it does it in this room. Like it's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
The Nun movie was boring. That was the only biggest problem with that.
You thought that character was going to ring true in that movie, and then they just mucked it. You're like, dude, you did too much. You did way too much. It was ridiculous.
Bad.
Yeah. Not great.
So you have those it's full of hits and misses, like that type of thing. But the thing with religious horror and with like possession horror and things like that, there's a movie that bait and switched horror fans in the last month. It's called Nefarious. Okay. It's a movie called Nefarious. I've seen the trailer for it. I saw the trailer. I was like, oh, this kind of looks cool. This kind of looks like a horror version of almost like a Silence of the Lambs type of thing. Like, these two dudes are in the interrogation room and they're talking about this guy being possessed and like blah, 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 blah. Then when you go see the movie, it is nothing but a Christian propaganda film.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And it wasn't even a horror movie. It was literally this dude. The voice that he was hearing was God. And it was like, you pieces of shit. Like, you didn't even remotely hint towards that on the trailer. And you knew that you were going to get horror fans to go watch the movie. And so that pissed me off. That when it comes to religious horror, quote unquote, that was trash.
And I liked like Insidious, like the Insidious. I was like, hey, you know what? I like the idea of like, okay, cool. We're going into like, and it doesn't need to be so Christian. I think though, if I remember correctly, it dips in a little in some spots, but a little-ish. But it stays in the way where you're like, no, listen, death is whatever. We don't know. You can whatever deity. Who gives a shit? But like, all I'm saying is the rules are kind of up. For whatever the rules in Insidious are, just like if you can love, like, which is great. It's a universal. It's much wider, and it's not this dumb kind of hook into like you got to look at the cross, like, look at it. Like you're just like, guys, if Jesus is real in this, that's nuts. Like you're like, you were like, so wait, Jesus exists, and also this fucking world exists. Are you out of your fucking mind? Like you are nuts. Oh, I'm drinking blood every Sunday so I can keep this away. Is that what you're okay? Right. It's ridiculous. So but I felt like Insidious kept it under, but as soon as and people hate when I talk about it, they're like, oh, you hate I'm like, no, guys, every time it comes in, you're just bored. You're just like, here we go. We got to do this shit again. Cool. Go some old church, find some bullshit. Talk to a priest who's like too grungy, smokes a bunch. He's probably going to die. Got it. Like, dude, this is old fucking hat. Like, this is really it's ridiculous. So it bums me out. That's why I loved X and like all this. I'm like, we're kind of off the beaten path. It's not fucking propaganda. And also, I would love it if it was a Catholic movie and had some balls on it. It would also have a priest molesting children. That for sure, what it would, right? Yeah, it would like play on that in some way. No nuts. There's no. You fucked nothing.
You fucked a demon right into that kid. All right, that's exactly what happened. Like, if they did that, sure, that would be the one that would do it. Like that would be the one. And the priest turns demonic as well because he is a bad priest. And you would never see that. You'd be like, yeah, do that. That's fucking great idea. I love that. Right.
You don't see it. So I just don't know where we're going, though, because I hate it when, again, I get Terrifier. I hope it's under that control. I hope they don't get picked up in money situation I hope they get picked up. But you know what I mean? Like, I just don't want it to run off. Like, so I'm like, please chill.
I can tell you this from meeting the people involved with the movie and like having pretty, like, I'm not going to say like consistent conversations with them, but I've talked to them a lot and it's in the right hands is the best way for me to put it, because they want the budget to make a movie that they want to make. But I'll tell you this, Terrifier 2 was made on $250K. That's crazy. Wow. That is crazy. Dude, okay.
And Tony, you said the first one was 20 grand?
Like 25. 25? Super cheap. Super cheap.
That body cut chainsaw that's when I knew. I was like, I will see the second one, because it was like,
for sure.
And I love the beats, but I was like, that part, I was like, they put the money right there and they lit it and did everything right. They nailed it.
So the director of the movie, Damien Leone, before he did the Terrifier movies, he was a full-blown special effects guy. So like he's the one that uses practical effects. He's the guy that has the heart for all that stuff. So the thing with Terrifier 2 is that there was a couple of parts, very sneaky parts, there were just some shine on a couple of things that were quote unquote CGI. All they were was just like a little bit of an enhancement. That movie was 99.9% fully practical, which is also crazy. But the thing about that is that even if they get a shitload of money, they talked about this at the premiere. They said if this movie is successful and they get a third one, even if they get a shitload of money, it's still going to be at its heart a Terrifier movie, and it's still going to be a practical effects extravaganza. Like they are adamantly against doing a Terrifier movie that's full of CGI. Like they just don't like it at all. So they just, as far as, like I said, as far as the hands that it is in, couldn't be better. Yes. You couldn't have asked for anybody better for that type of a movie. I do want to tell you one thing about the whole religious horror thing, though, just because this is something you might actually enjoy. So there's a movie that just came out that just dropped on you can rent it on streaming, but it's called The Pope's Exorcist with Russell Crowe.
I have not seen it, but of course we peruse.
Right.
Please tell me you love this movie.
It's fucking great, and I'll tell you why. Because
you son of a bitch.
It's okay. First of all, First of all, it's Fat Russell Crowe. Okay?
I mean, you had me. You had me at Fat Russell Crowe. The only reason I haven't watched it is because I was worried the rest of the movie was bad.
Right. So here's the other thing that's cool about it. The movie knows exactly what it is. Its tone is firmly tongue-in-cheek for the parts that it needs to be.
Really?
And then when the actual horror comes on, it's pretty fucking great, like horror. So really what it is, like literally the opening scene with the exorcist and the demon, he's talking shit to the demon like they're shooting dice. Like it's hilarious.
That's
so like
funny.
He's got the actual guy that it's based off of, Gabriel Amarth.
Okay.
When he was alive, he was kind of like a shit talker. He was kind of like, he was an alcoholic, kind of a wise ass, like that type of thing. Yeah. So like when he's talking shit to this dude that's possessed, this kid that's possessed, he's like, "Are you really a big demon? I don't think you are." Right. Like he's like, he goes, "I think you're kind of a little, like kind of a weak ass demon." He's like, "Could you possess me? I don't think you could possess me." He's like,
D.
He's like, you have to possess a kid because you're a pussy. And the demon's like, "You motherfucker." Like, like that type of thing.
Wow. So, I'm very surprised.
Yeah. So then about the halfway point, it hits the horror. And then it goes pretty fucking wild with the horror part. The only thing that you have to understand is that there is definitely like some crazy CGI in it, but it's not like the kind of CGI that like you look at it and you're like, ugh. It's not like that. But it's totally like, "Oh, what's up, Adam?"
For people listening at home, Adam Nutter has just joined us.
Yeah.
Literally split us down the middle, just interrupted, just you
split the baby.
Yeah, just split the baby there.
I'm very sorry. It's not important, but I'm very sorry. Continue your conversation.
So no, it's totally worth watching. Like it's one of those things I think it's gonna hit the exact tone of a religious horror movie that you want it to. So I think you should totally watch it. It's fun. I said, Fat Russell Crowe, never go wrong.
Oh, beautiful. I need it. I need a Fat Russell Crowe every day. I love him. I mean, because every time I'm watching Fat Russell Crowe, I'm thinking of his divorce monologues, like all his like divorce stuff. Mm-hmm. Didn't he do a divorce auction? I thought he did. If you know anything about Russell Crowe, I'm pretty sure once he got a divorce, he did like an auction. He was just bloated, just drinking a bunch, and just like he was like, "Nah, I'm selling all this shit. I don't give a fuck.
Just take it all. I don't want it anymore." It. Yeah,
it's one.
And then he did that fucking road rage movie where he was also like a dude who's like. The fucking opening of the movie is he walks into a house and kills a bunch of people with a hammer, and then he's like, "I'm gonna go for a drive now." It's like. And then, like, the rest of the movie is just Fat Russell Crowe driving under the influence of booze, getting pissed off at a lady that cut him off in traffic.
Ooh, sounds awesome.
It was great. Yeah, it was insane, but it was great, Fat Thor. He was Fat Thor. He was Fat Zeus in Thor.
Zeus,
right. Yeah, which was great. So Fat Russell Crowe.
I'm surprised because I will tell you what they fucked the trailer. Because the trailer was... oh, let's hit these beats.
Mhm.
It felt like I was like, oh, guys, I mean, yes, I know who's going to see it, but not me. I was like, I'm a horror fan. I'm not going to see that based on the way you cut that trailer. Now, if they cut it with a little more pizzazz, I remember seeing that like they had shoved Russell Crowe. Didn't they do like a live TV thing? Or at least he had popped in some way. What was that, Jones?
He was at WrestleMania. It was at WrestleMania.
Yes, it was WrestleMania. I was
During an
watching
entrance.
WrestleMania. Yes.
Yeah.
So
It
they
was
really
during the
played it.
Edge entrance.
Yeah, during the Edge entrance. And I was like, I was watching it with comedian Jesse Tram, comedian Seamus Millar, and like Andy Lane, and these comics in Philly. And I'm like, what? What is this? I'm like, this is my shit. I watch wrestling vicariously through them. I come over every once in a while. They download. I love it, and then that's how we watch it. And I'm like, what is this? I know about this movie. Why is this on wrestling right now?
Right, yeah.
And it just fat Russell Crowe just being like, you want to see this fucking movie? And I was like, I know Russell Crowe, but I'm still not gonna see it. The trailer looked god awful. They really did not.
Dog shit.
Yeah, it was really bad. I was like, wow, why there's nothing interesting in this. But it's so much with horror, so many times. It's also speaking of Asian horror, we were talking about it before. What was it? It was Witch. Was it just Witch? I think.
It was The Witch and The Witch
Paranormal.
2. It was The Witch and The Witch 2.
The Witch and The Witch 2, right?
Yeah, they're on Shudder.
Yes. Very fun. I loved if this is the right movie I'm thinking of, because it's Stranger Things in some ways. I mean, it's MK Ultra, and Adam, I think you would love it, dude. I won't say. There's a turn, but Adam's an asshole where he's not a good horror guy because he wants to guess the turn and he wants to talk and try to tell you and try to talk during the movie and guess the turn. You're like, Adam, shut the fuck up. Just watch it and enjoy.
No.
Please, if you could. And it's very fun. I would watch it. You're gonna have to read. I'm sorry, but that's tough for you. But it's
brain traumas.
It's
amazing.
it's tough. But I will tell you will have fun. And there's a couple, so you can kind of have fun with them.
They're both great.
They're both
I've seen
fantastic. Oh, no, not
no,
the
this is a different one.
Yeah. So this is Asian. This is is it? No, it's not.
It's Korean, isn't it?
Korean. I think
it's
Korean.
It's Korean horror.
It's all
it's awesome. Early settlers, America, or Korean cinema. It's all the same shit. Absolutely. Yeah, I hated that scene in The Vitch when they were holding their eyes taut. It was very rude.
So now I did come in late, 44 minutes late to my own podcast. Now I have to ask. Was this a horror based the entire 45 minutes?
100% the entire time.
People are gonna hate this.
If they do, I don't care. What are we gonna talk liberty? No. First of all, I made fun of you. I was immediately like, listen, Adam can't be here, but he sends his regards from the DNC and RNC. He loves it. I was just like, he might be off to it. I was fucking around, like having fun. I think they will, because I want more people to. And also, horror's huge, but it's like, so many people watch garbage and then they're like, ugh, I don't like this at all. And we're like, yeah, I know. It's because
you're watching shitty horror.
Yeah, terrible shit is coming out, and it's shown.
Did we do plugs?
No, actually, I was actually about to go right into plugs
off
after,
the rails.
but then you.
I knew.
No, it's not off the rails.
Not off the rails. I told Jonas before he got on. I was like, dude, Neil loves horror. This is his shit. And then I had to bail for something real quick, and then I was like, this is why I was like, I guarantee I talked to her for 44 minutes.
100%. Yeah. It wasn't even a question.
I was like, okay, well, why do it in the middle? Like, I was like, it didn't make any sense because usually
I don't know how we always do it.
I know, but it's not. Oh, sorry, everybody, we broke format. Are we that famous where you guys are mad
I'm just
now?
busting your balls.
Yeah, I know. But it was, I was like, now let's fucking hold on to this roller coaster and just ride it into the ground. Thank you for interrupting. So why don't we do plugs now? I guess.
I got
you. Jesus Christ.
So
whatever.
real quick, Neil, this one on you. You'll actually get this. You'll understand. There was actually.
No, go ahead. I was gonna plug me. You're good. It's tough. Go. Fire on
Neil,
cylinders.
you'll understand this, Neil. When I have friends sometimes that watch horror movies, they say, "Can you give me a movie that's gonna fuck me up?" And I'm like, "Do you want me to fuck your day up? Do you want me to fuck your week up, or do you want me to fuck your month up? Like,
Right. Yeah.
how fucked up do we want to go here?
Right.
So whenever they say they want me to fuck their day up, I'll do a movie that's like a Terrifier 2. Like something like that, where it's like a gore film where they're just like, ugh, now I got to shower, like that type of thing.
Start. Yeah.
Right. If they do a fuck my week up, I'll be like, all right, let's do an Asian one like Ichi the Killer or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
That's like gnarly, bloody, gory, but like also kind of depraved and fucked up.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, if it's a fuck my month up, I'll throw like French Extreme at them. I'll just be like, why don't you go ahead and turn the lights off and watch Martyrs? Like, go ahead and do that.
No,
like
I haven't dipped too much into it. No. I've heard about Fred stuff. I've seen bits of Martyr. I don't think I need to go back and do a rewatch of Martyr.
Did we talk obligatory Serbian film yet, or is that?
Oh yeah, we brought up a Serbian film.
That was like immediately.
Immediately, I figured.
Yeah.
Is that like your guys' cool check?
Yeah.
Like, is it like you like Serbian film? You're like Serbian. You're like, all right.
Yeah.
But the French are fucked up. No.
The French.
All
dude,
that
the
said.
French extreme movies are like they're good movies. They're very good movies, but like you got to fucking like sit down and understand that you're going through a ride. Like Martyrs is all about trauma. Like it's one of those movies that like once you watch it, all the stuff that it touches on in the movie, it's like, oh fuck, horror doesn't touch on those things. And like it really brings those things out. And then you have movies like there's one that's literally called Revenge.
Ooh,
and it's on Shudder. It's on Shudder.
All right.
It's a movie called Revenge, and the whole movie is about a woman that is up in somewhere in France with a boy toy, and she gets assaulted while two other dudes kind of just sit back and understand that it happened.
Okay.
And they try to kill her, but they don't. So she goes on a fucking warpath. It goes from like I spit on your grave a little bit to like a female Rambo. And it's just like it's so good. It's such a good movie, a revenge movie.
I love some good revenge. And they've done well in terms of a genre which is expanded in some way, which is really fun. Of like, revenge, like rape revenge movies have become sort of its own little kind of thing over here.
Adam's like, oh my God.
Some of your favorite ones, both for the victim and for the predator.
Of course, the predator side.
But like, I'm trying to think of, I mean, Irreversible, which isn't in that genre. I'm saying, but like in terms of
Irreversible is insane.
It's nuts. But I don't know if I was trying to think of is it month worthy. I was like.
I think it depends on the person for sure.
Yeah, it would.
But yeah, it easily could. It easily could be.
When I tell you that I watch, I mean, what a great to pitch it to you. It's watching a movie sequentially in reverse in segments.
Yeah, you talked about this movie before.
And it's well, it has French actresses, right? They're in France, I believe.
Monica Bellucci's in it. She's the main woman, and then I think it's Vincent Cassel. That also is in it. He's in a bunch of that dude's movies. Gaspar Noé. He's in a bunch of his movies.
Yeah, people will recognize the one actor. He's going on to do other stuff, and you're just. But it was the pitch was it was just like no, I want to tell. And it was like a college. I think it was a college movie or a guy who had the idea in college and then like got it made. And you're like I've told you about this, Adam, in this whole movie.
Yeah.
It's just. You're not ready for it. I could tell you about it, and then you're just still not ready for it.
Yeah.
And then you have to watch the end. It's a genius idea when you're like, okay, cool, we're watching it in this order. It's forward, right? Each segment is forward when they break from a scene or whatever, but you're watching it in reverse order in that way. And when you get to the part that I mentioned, you're just like, okay, well, now what? Like, what?
Right.
How do you finish a thing like this? Because that was such a brutal scene. I can only imagine therapy was needed just on the actor's side. Like or they walked it off, and I don't know what their life is like. But you know what I mean? They're
walk now. I'm like,
It's another Tuesday. You're just
going
like
to go have a smoke. It'll be fun.
But yeah, Irreversible. I would think that was in. I was gonna say when you were mentioning like you want me to fuck your month up, want to fuck your week up. Like where are you at? I'm like you want to fuck your month up, dude. Some Irreversible. I mean some Serbian film. I've watched a Serbian film midday. I've said this to Adam.
Yeah.
I watched it midday, 2 p.m. in my room eating some food. And I no joke, it was like a Curb and Enthusiasm sketch. Like I watched it, I finished it, I went like, Holy
Yep.
fuck.
Yeah, you watched it like
Turned it off and
5
then went
times.
out into the world. yeah. I think
Yeah.
And yeah, I was wide eyed for most of the day. I was like, man, yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, good.
And I think also like even a movie, like it depends on the person, because like some people like the movie Midsummer, that could fuck their entire
yeah,
week or month up
true.
I
easily.
like that one.
You know,
I watched it. Like,
you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
like, see-
well,
Midsummer because of the subject matter, because the fact that it's all based on grief, just like trauma and grief, that could easily fuck somebody's world up. But also like, you know, like the reason the whole like fuck your week month thing, there's certain movies that I think are universally pretty fucking brutal. Like, and that's like, you know, the movies that I was talking about, but like
Yeah.
there's one called Eden Lake that is wildly brutal, and it's one of Michael Fassbender's first movies.
oh.
And it's like a lower budget, like lesser seen type of thing, but it's super fucked up. Like, and it's very good, but it's also again one of those like lesser seen type of movies. Wolf Creek is another one
Creek's
that's
awesome.
super
Yep.
fucked up, you know. So yeah, there's always those types of movies, but like those French ones, the dude, that Gaspar Noé guy, the guy that did Irreversible, all of his movies are fucked up, every single
Yeah.
one of them. Enter the Void, Climax,
Enter
like
the
all
Void
those
scene.
movies,
Yep.
dude. Climax is actually one of my favorite movies, but most people, Climax is dope. It's the best way to put it is what would happen if a bunch of people got locked into one room and all had a bad acid trip at the same time.
Oh, okay. So nice. We're going into more MK Ultra shit. That's like
Big
it's like
time.
with it. Yeah. That's like the mass poisoning in France and stuff like that. It's like what, like 7 people died. Like I love watching it. There's instances where you can show this. Like people lost their fucking shit when we dropped LSD and shit. And like, well, no, sorry, we didn't. Sorry, U.S. government.
Yeah,
We
quote,
no
unquote.
what? Or the one in
Wink,
San
wink, no,
Francisco. No, we
Yeah.
didn't also do it in San
dude,
Francisco.
fuck,
That's
that was
nuts.
those stories
It's
are
just-
great, dude. I love
all of a
those
sudden, a
stories.
person just lost their shit, walked into it, like looked at a wall for 5 hours, and then walked off of like a building. And
Dude,
you're
they were
like,
just
right.
drugging
We don't
politicians
know,
with
like-
prostitutes. Like,
Mhm.
prostitutes are just drug politicians, and they was blackmail. It's fucking great.
oh well, there's all that, and then the testing beforehand. They did some exposures even earlier in the 50s where they were just letting some gas out just for
Yeah.
funds. You know what I mean? Just like
Uh,
see what it worked.
Did we talk about Lamb yet in this? Fuck that movie.
No.
It sucked.
The movie Lamb? Yeah.
Fuck that
That movie actually
Yeah,
did
it's-
in fact suck.
It
That
did
was
suck
actually
so bad.
that
Jonas,
movie
can I tell
was
you
one
my
of
problem
those-
with that movie? Can
Yeah,
I tell you
please
my problem with
do.
that movie? And again, I am not a horror aficionado like you gentlemen are. And that's your thing. I'm just a dumb moviegoer, okay? But, and I don't know if Neil's filled you in on this at all, but I'm like a guy who's like, I don't need to be told what's going on or like an answer, but like you gotta allude to something. You can't just be like,
Sure.
that's a thing. So like the fact that I'm spoiling this fucking piece of shit movie for anybody out there.
It's fine. Spoil it
5, 4,
away.
3, 2, 1. I'm spoiling this movie. At the end, when the lamb guy just shoots the guy and takes his lamb child back,
Right.
who the fuck is the lamb guy? Where did he come from? Where's the
point
lamb
of the
baby come
movie.
from? What the hell? What does it all mean? You can't just do that and be like, "This is normal," and just go on about your day. Like you got to give me something. I'm not getting. You don't have to spell it out for me. Like you don't have to be like the lamb is a demon who came from the devil. Like I'm fine. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, give me more than just fire. Also, good shot with the shotgun. Just pick up
Right.
a rifle for the first time ever and just get the bullseye.
Right.
I used to miss with the pistol constantly.
Right.
Fuck outta here.
This is what I liked about them. The movie, I hated the movie, but this is what I liked: the fact that the storyline was very simple. A shitty lady stole this guy's kid, and he came back and got it back.
Yeah, that's totally what it was,
That's
right?
the
100%.
whole
Like
story.
That's what I love. I didn't hate it as much. It's a one watch. It's a and you get to go like, oh, everything you thought is real. That's it. That's the
Right.
whole point of the movie. That's the
I
whole
just
point.
wanted more of a-
Dad came back and was like, "Fuck you! You stole my kid, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
kill you now."
Totally.
Mythical,
To be
mythical
fair-
creatures exist.
Yeah.
Right.
To be fair, if I was that dad, I probably would have done the same thing.
No,
Like,
for sure.
Yeah.
I just also the uncle should have killed that thing. Just
For
that's
sure.
what I'm saying. He should have
For sure.
100% killed
Oh.
that baby. Because like I talk about this all the time. I'm trying to make this a bit, but it's not. I can't figure it out. But it's like you know how people are like I wish like my dog could talk. You know people say that like I wish my dog could talk, and like I think that too. Then I'm like yeah, but like that would be horrifying. It would sound like Caesar from like Rise of the Planet of the Apes when he first spoke.
Yeah.
He was like, no, and everyone was like, well, that's horrifying, because
Right.
like animals don't have vocal cords, like that'd be horrifying. But it's like, so like if once his uncle saw like a half human goat thing,
right.
he should be like, that's cute, but this is clearly I have to kill it for the good of humanity, this has to die.
Right.
Like I have
So,
to kill this thing.
This is something that I think both of you will like. When I did a review of that movie, the reason that I said the movie was bad, like I did a written review of this movie and I said this is why that movie was bad. Early in the movie, it's very clear that somebody fucked a sheep. Very
Right.
clear. And if that's the case early on in the movie, for the rest of the movie, I should care about who fucked that sheep.
Yeah.
It was so boring that I no longer gave a shit about who fucked that sheep.
Dude,
and
yeah.
also,
Fuck yeah.
they never tell you who fucked the sheep.
The
Like, it
goat
just-
dad clearly fucked the sheep.
Right.
But like, so we first of all, self-plug Patreon. Go to our Patreon, patreon.com/cultofloss. We did a movie watch of this, and we just like broke it
Beautiful.
down. And the whole time, just like, who fucked the sheep though?
Yeah, who fucked the sheep? Like,
like but
I-
clearly it
fucked
came out of a
made
sheep.
the sheep man baby. Like,
I almost gave it because I do like bitter endings and stuff like that. Like I really do. I love a good just like no, you're an idiot. like looking at the audience and be like, we've been showing you what's about to happen, kind of the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
And I love that. But why do the someone even fucked a sheep? Like you should have just found a lamb baby first of all, like just out of the gate, and then it would have been so sweet to just go through this whole movie of like this is like a miracle, and it's like, oh my god, humans humans exist in this realm where like maybe this is just some weird one-off thing of like something like evolution.
That's how I
And then-
interpreted it, right? Like
Well,
how they looked at
right.
it, where they were like, "This is a miracle." Also,
Right,
not to
right.
cut you off, dude, but
Right.
like,
No,
but like,
I get it, yeah.
But like, they also implied like the dad might have fucked a sheep a little bit in that movie.
The fucking needed to get out of it. That's what I'm saying. It all the fucking needed to get like it shouldn't have mattered because at the end of the day, the horror of it should have just been like, no, you fucking human idiots. You think the world revolves around you the entire fucking time.
Right.
Mythical creatures exist, you dumb shit.
Yeah. To be fair though, it was their sheep, so like they kind of have a, like that guy was just fucking someone's property. Like maybe
Right.
fuck a
Somebody
random
did
sheep.
technically
And-
break in and fuck
Yeah,
that sheep.
so you
So,
kind of
like,
fault that
Libertarian wise, that's your child.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't respect property rights.
Property are humans. That's what we've
agreed.
always said. That's
I do say that. Agreed. So don't come in. Don't be coming in, sheep guy.
we gotta go to plugs. We gotta do plugs and get out of here.
Don't be coming in, sheep guy, and fucking my
yeah,
livestock.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, let's do some plugs again. Jonas, why don't we kick you off there, buddy? Tell them everything where they can find you and all the stuff. Let them know.
Yeah. So if you're gonna find me on Instagram, you can find me at Jonas Barnes Comedy, as you see down there under my face here. That's my regular page. If you want to see and listen to any of the horror stuff, it's at AGHP666. And if you're in New York City, I have a show that is every fourth Thursday of the month called the Traumedy Hour, and that is at the Tiny Cupboard in Brooklyn. And we talk about the darkest, most traumatic, most fucked up stuff possible and turn it into comedy. And we do that every month. So that is at the Tiny Cupboard in Bushwick, Brooklyn, fourth Thursday of every month at 7 p.m.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Boom. That's
Yeah.
sick.
Uh-oh.
Oop, I hit the wrong thing.
Oh, I'm putting on the wrong stuff, too.
Oh, it was you?
Yeah,
Look at you.
I'm helping out.
Fuck yeah. You-
Adam Nutter, go ahead, buddy. Where can they find you?
Go check me out at Adam Nutter on Instagram, on Twitter, and Adam Nutter Comedy on TikTok. Go check out the Porcupine. I haven't done an episode in over a month. YouTube.com/Adam Nutter. Gotta get back on that horse.
You are the worst at plugs I've ever.
I am the worst on
it's
plugs.
insane how bad you are. You could have said nothing.
I know.
You could
but
have
I was
just
being
been
honest.
positive
I was
and
being
just
honest.
said.
I gotta get back on the horse. I'm motivating myself to fucking do it again.
Yeah,
I
but
haven't-
that's detriment to our listeners.
Shut up. No, I'm gonna put out a new episode next week. Go listen to the. I don't know why I did a Bill Clinton thing. go listen to the.
I have a new episode next week.
Go listen to Porcupine. AdamNutter.com/ YouTube.com/Adam Nutter. And then come see me do comedy. June 3rd. I'm doing Rinaldi
No,
Yoder show.
first of all,
yes.
stop.
What?
May 26th, this week, you will be in.
Yeah, but
You're
you
going to let
usually
me
those.
do all those, right?
Yes.
Cool. Go ahead, you stupid son of a bitch.
I was 100% gonna let you do those. Yeah.
Are
yeah,
you at
but
June
yeah.
7th? You coming June 7th? No, you're not. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Keep going.
yeah.
Damn it. All right, now
Yeah.
I know.
June 7th too. Yeah. So okay, outside of that, June 17th, Cardinal Winery up in Lansdale, PA. June 22nd, Pork Fest up in New Hampshire. Just that one day. I'm coming back because that Friday is just a comedy show, Turnersville, New Jersey. And then July, Healing for the Funniest Thing and others. Neil's going to fill in the rest of the stuff. Yeah. Yay. I'm done.
Boom. Nice. Yeah, come on out this weekend. This Friday, come out May 26th. We got 2 shows running over there at Myers Brewing Company. So you can come for the 7:30 show or the 9:30 show. The 9:30 show's got a awesome comedy fight club. Adam and I will be there. Adam is on the first show as well with Blaze Gagakis, Ryan Curtis, a great lineup. Brian Fennell, John Del Calo, like great comics on the first show as well. So come out to either one. Tickets are only $12. You can go to drop10.com/events for all those dates and details for all our upcoming events. All right, we'll be June 2nd. We've got the Crown of Creation right here in South Philly. So come out to the biggest little comedy shows at different venues throughout the city. June 2nd, we've got South Philly, and then June 7th, we'll be in technically Monroe, New Jersey, Williamstown, New Jersey, in that area at Autumn Lake Winery, June 7th. So you can get those dates and details and tickets all at drop10.com/events. Go there now. You can, of course, check me out at iamneilwood.com. Go there for all the dates and details for any outside shows. Thank you so much for having me on the show I just came from at Urban Village Brewing. You do a great job. It was very fun from Steve Leventhal. And check out all my stuff, iamneilwood.com. Go there for everything. And of course, Adam, you can let them know where they can find some sweet merch. Go to drop10.com/store. Check out some of that Cult of Us merch. Get in there, grab a hat, grab a shirt, grab whatever. You don't even have to show it. Don't show it. Yeah, because it's off. Don't even worry about it. And yeah, we'll just roll through this. And yeah, we got hats, we got shirts, we got all. Okay, or do it anyway, even though I told you not to.
It's
just don't want you to. I've made a decision. And yeah, but check out sweatshirts, check out Drop 10 shirts if you want to support the network and not even our podcast, whatever. All of it helps us. You can go in there and support the network. And go a little sleeveless. It's going to be fun. So check out all that stuff there. It helps us out a bunch and keeps our podcast going and thriving. And of course, go over to Patreon, patreon.com/cult of us. You got our $5 tier, get you all the shit. You're getting a shirt. We're asking for that size. Let us know what those that sweet fabric is hugging your hips, you son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Let us know your size. Let us know. And you're gonna get in there. You're gonna jump into our Discord, check out some fights with us and movie watches, us on the road, all that stuff and more. $5 a month right there, and join the cult. Get in on here, and be good to your president and your pope. Come on, guys, what's going on? The president and the pope need your love. So, we haven't done anything horrible, right? You've only had sex with 3 or 4 boys, right? I've had sex with a couple boys, but you do your boys different. Because I'm a pope, I have to.
We don't talk about that.
No, not during plugs. I know. You've told me multiple times I should not talk about the rampant.
Hey, what we do in Thailand is what we do in Thailand.
Sex from the Catholic community. I've said this multiple times. I apologize.
That's legal there.
Shout out to my mom, big Catholic. Love you. This has been a lot of
shooting
fun.
Holy water all over the place.
She is. It is unfortunate.
Just ropes of communion.
Dude, when I tell you, I'm like, Mom, did you squirt holy water again? God damn it, Mom. God, wait, all over the raviolis! The raviolis!
Imagine walking into
this is so much salt.
Imagine walking
so much salt, Mom. You know you're
dehydrated.
I don't
say I wanted Alfredo.
Yeah, what is this like a clam sauce? This is really good. This is like a light al fresco sort of thing. I like this. Mary, what are these chunks?
You should drink more water. This is a kind of a Diavolo going on.
Yeah. Jones, I want to say, man,
next time spice this shit up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jones, I don't know when I will see you again or talk to you again. I hope to get your number and just get some good movies from you because I mean this has been sensational.
Yeah, we gotta have
amazing,
Jonas on next time. I can do the full episode.
We don't need to do that, Jones. We don't need to do this, Jones.
Also, I can have you on the horror podcast, so you can just go fucking crazy into the
That's
horror
gonna
with
be
us.
weird. No,
Nah.
I love it. just immediately backpedal. Well, I'm busy. No, I would.
I don't really
Of
like
course.
horror. It's not really my thing.
Deal with
I'm
Thrive
happy
on your podcast.
I love the whole bit. You know, it's just coming over from the art perspective. I don't know. There's something about the art in me. I just love the practical effects and how they figure it out. It's just I love and of course I think it's got its best stories. But this has been amazing. Check out his podcast, Jonas. Thank you for joining us, buddy. Adam, of course, another day here. Any final thoughts, anybody? Anything
Anything at all?
No, I think we crushed it. I think we nailed everything. Hey, if you hate this because of horror talk and we're like, oh, we're talking about movies, go see some of these movies. We're not recommending garbage. Like we're recommending
True.
These are very good movies.
These two
Expert,
gentlemen are
all
gonna
these.
put on bangers. They're gonna give you bangers.
Go check these movies out. They deal with everything you like. Trust
We
me.
totally
I
shit on
swear.
the bad ones. So
Yeah. We shit on the. It was like, We go check these out. They deal with everything you like. Trust us and enjoy them and check out. Of course.
Oh, you know what? I do want to leave us on something. This is
Yeah,
an unpopular opinion. I think if you eat in your car, it's like, I don't know. It makes me feel fat if I eat in my car.
Well, listen, as the resident fat person on this lineup right now, you're correct. Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of the fattest experiences you can have in
and
your
like
life.
I don't know, it could be anything. I just won't do it.
What I like to do, if I have to eat in my car, I like to pop the trunk, let the feet hang out. I get in the trunk, close the door, close the trunk door. I just get in there and eat. I pop it when I'm done. You know what I mean? I get in there, but I eat by myself. I do a couple screams every once in a while. You know what I mean? Just to throw people off. They're passing by. I park in a
Keep 'em on their
shopping
toes, I get
center.
it.
Yeah. Just having fun. Something in my butt. You know what I mean? Just yelling fun stuff like
Put
that.
it in neutral, try to finish the food before it drives off the cliff. You know.
I forgot to tell you that part. Yeah, I do. I get out of the car. It's in neutral through an intersection. I run behind it. I jump in the trunk. I've got a burger. That's what I'm eating. And I get it. But
You gotta get your cardio to burn up that burger.
Of course.
it's just fun. It's just like, hey, how else am I going to?
We should add the segment to the week. Unpopular opinion.
Popular opinion.
It's like edging, but for obesity. It's
yeah,
great.
it's like I don't know. Like I was eating a protein thing in the car today, like, on the way to the gym, and I was like, even that. I was like, I just
That's
feel like
very sensible. You're out of your mind, and this
I
is
know.
all completely in your head. This
It
is
is.
something to talk to your therapist
right.
about.
No, I won't. This is what this is for. I'm gonna say it out now.
I know, but we're not
Hey,
gonna.
when he
We're not
said-
gonna.
When he said he was eating protein in his car, he was actually giving roadhead. That's
Yeah.
actually what that
That
was.
is what that. It hurt my
dude,
throat. It was bumpy. He didn't slow down at all. He just kept speeding
No.
up.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're gonna meal prep your own jizz, buddy, listen. This is what I forgot to tell you about this whole thing. I've been meal prepping my own jizz. It's the best source of protein. And you can actually check out our course. Go to patreon.com/cult of us. Check out our course, and you guys are gonna love it. You're gonna be the most ripped, obviously from
Banana
our
muscle
bodies. You can
milk
tell.
tastes good coming out the other end.
Yeah. Proper hydration. That's key.
I was trying the pineapple thing, but it's so hard to get it into those small little cubes.
Your
to get it
urethra.
up there.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's so tough. It's so tough. It
Well,
won't stay up.
you gotta cut them right. It's the trick.
Oh,
you
is
gotta,
it?
you gotta wedge them. You gotta
I
wedge
was
them like
using
a lime
one
in a beer bottle.
Oh, that's the trick.
Pops right up there.
I was using one of those. If you've ever seen how they do cured meats, they have like a long tube, like kind of a metal cylinder thing. You punch that in to get a thing. I was doing it
So you're
that
doing like
way.
a sounding thing, but
In some ways, some people, but I've been kind of doing it that way. An insemination of pineapple into my penis. Guys, another day in the co- What a smooth transition.
I also got
Jonas.
doxed on Facebook.
Oh, great. Dude, hey, could you stop giving me all the bad news on the podcast? Maybe save some shit for off mic.
Well, this is stuff I would have loved to talk about on the podcast, but I was like,
No. What? Oh, we have
happened
less
already.
people that have access to us right now. Awesome. So Jonas, thank you so much. Check out everything he does. Not another horror podcast. Go check it out. Guys, I've been Neil Wood. That's been Adam Nutter. Jonas Barnes, everybody. We'll see you another day. Another day in the cult, people.
bye.
By the renewing of your mind.
The recycling. It's a flesh body world.
Do it.
Human.
Do it.
Sir slimy reptilian.
This has been a Drop Tent Media Production.